Yo, what's your phone of way? Hopefully, radio no so good with you. I said you could say there be a no. Financial peace education. I need your Patrik Nanaya Barfi Asiano. And as you be the home come I ne ya change trend in the cry. It's time kuchu. And there was here, yeah, so better than an answer overtrain. I can now it is a daka key free gun there, but key free Krumu bank is why nearby. I has it in your possible. It was so better than Kukubuni in the end, and Navy. It's time kuchu, Mikofana. Ne mami kuna di no omudi jumedi no abrain. Na I'm just to freeze ya mami o ti ha ji so kwasaba. Okay. We the yencha ho yenya mame ne nana wasu die ne yekoye nima ti nana meja mamo na de ene enso ho no ne mame e de amaye yo atiefo.
Yemu bebre at sisa word neda endurance. To be baby say endurance no kra na yeden. Endurance is the ability to sustain an activity for an extended period of time. And no nene say bibi wo hɔ a wokom. Wa wonim say ade a wokom yi w'ani ngye ho but ɛno ne yɛ ahoɔden bi a etimi ba ɛbɛboa wo ɛma wotimi ewie anamɔn bi a wotu. Ana endurance no so no ɛyɛ say bibi a w'ani ngye ho, you are not happy about what's going on, but you find yourself in that situation. Meaning say 2024 year remi obia wo botaye bi sinani so obia expect say bia anka February a ebekọ na wie ye nche ebekọ na wie o na niema ba komienu bi de nka farmer no but enya nko sa ma wo ebi nso wo ho a o expect say nyame be bibia ma o hwehwe bibia nim but unsanya nkan ene di asema me be kan ne say we should endure. Bible na nkasa kraka say weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Endurance no, yemia yeni ene na ye endure. Eye den a time will come. Joy will meet us. Inti we ni asem kakra me ne mo ebeche say ade bi a ye komo bia no. Yen so mo kakra kakra. Ebi wo ho na it's coming to teach us certain things, or we need to learn certain things from what we are going through. Inti we ni bibi kakra me ne ebeche. We should learn to endure and trust God for the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mame. Very powerful. Very powerful. Yo, to say the kano your topic no bibi kakra sunko kakra. Should I buy a house now or wait? Should I buy a house now or wait? Yeah, any nua baako MC mu bebre enim na kakra a wonim die efa eba se yebeto dan ene si yebe rente ni saa nima nyina no. Onam kwan so ba ye twɛn no. But before no yebe start na oba na obeka ye ho. Sɛdeɛ yɛka no to say ne mpɛ sɛ yɛhu sɛ finance no nyɛ sɛ yɛhu sɛ finance anete ɛnyɛ one fit all. Ebi a meme kɔtɔ dan meme ho yɛ ehia bi a bɛ yɛmfa sɛ metimi nya bɛ 100,000 ɛde ato aseɛ. Obi so betimi nya bi a 20,000 ɛde ato aseɛ. Ɛnyɛ bibi bi a one fit all. Ɛwɔ mu sɛ the basis na ɛyɛ the same, but yana nyɛ one fit for. Nti mpɛ sɛ yɛde topic baako bɛhyɛ wo so sɛ ɛde ahyɛ wo so. Na mmom mpɛ sɛ wo start to be some more questions. Sɛ saa na yɛpɛ sɛ yɛkɔ no more questions. Mɛsrɛ sɛ nka wofrɛ a ɛyɛ wofrɛ a ɛho hia sɛ wode your friends will be identify when I say wode ho bɛda adi we personal finance ɛnti ne yɛfrɛ no personal finance yɛwɔ awasɛm a wobɛtumi akyerɛ abra bɛtumi aka baabi a bia wofirifiri no wopa wonka ho nankasa anaa womfa wobɛtumi afa din biara ɛho hia wopɛ sɛ wode ho adi so a ɛyɛ fine. But personal finance doesn't necessarily have to be that. But so free, near no kasa questions, it may be some questions near your way. You know, chat near yes and yet, but also friend near no kasa, it may be some questions more. And my you say, and I see it me answer questions near yes, Anna. What the two chats, Mayana as a general questions, but we want Ayana a way. And here, and say a dime a ton of sanity. Say, should I buy a house now or wait for? You know, especially as a mortgage rate, the kofumana. I say we will be a what to say if I say we social media kakra TikTok, you know, Twitter, which is X now, IG, and YouTube nisani mana. You share and that's all friends are so called experts are. I wish we are talking about interest rate na dime price nisani mana. Omo ampa. Interest rate bibi a akosoro kakra nya kakra akosoro pa because uhwem a free January 2022 bis November 2020 2023 no 15-year rate mortgage na jumping from 2.3 all the way to 7 nti na nya bibi a uhwa within a year or so no e ade na akosoro pa nti na yehwe sɛ sɛn ne bitimi afa na yetimi atoto nyama yie abra ebia sɛ opɛ so ho aso sɛ opɛ sɛ ɔtɔ na anaasɛ ho nya nso sɛ obi abɛtɔ sɛ de meka no betimi do questions room na ɛnyɛ no nko a yɛpɛ sɛ obisa questions bia ɛwom sɛ na ɛdan ho asɛm ne yɛka but questions bia de ayɛ ho adwuma de ɛnyɛ ho adwuma de ɛkyerɛ wadwen so wode ba a ebetimi aka na yɛka ho asɛm but before sɛ question bia bɛba no obetimi ka enua wɔ hɔ no man ka me start ebisa no question yɛhwɛ so ɔbɛba nti no yɛhwɛ so ɔba me questions bi wɔ hɔ no ma amanfoɔ de ama me dada ebitimi abisa no ba wo bi sisi abetimi de aba asakra na ya start mehwɛ nti obi se dan sɛ mɛtɔ dan no ɛyɛ sisi anaasɛ ɛnyɛ ɛbɛpɛ sɛ nka me nua na ka bibisa no saa question no paa akakra me meka fa wo sɛ ɛdan ɛtɔ no ɛyɛ biribi bi a te sɛ deɛ mekaeɛ no wontumi mbase on interest rate nko a ɛmu sɛ nipa bebree question sɛ should I wait now because interest rate no wɔ soro no ɛne ɛbɛtɔ anaasɛ yɛntwɛn kakra anaa ɛdan tɔ ɛyɛ biribi bi a ɛnyɛ main depend on interest rate ho almost saying you say you have to marry the price of the house and date the interest rate into the price of the house no be as a worry no in so worry will be a one in the na udate will be sure be at missy a manico that means say interest rate buffer and I cost so dear was shown above from out me a refinance it no yen train and I say yen taught that based on interest rates. Hey, because obviously maybe interest rate draw. That's why you'll be a old trans interest rate beba from our because a train answer. But maybe if you said dine tono and maybe be I would say based on interest rate because interest rate it may cost through na form. Even himself most of the time, yeah, na cost through but it may be from also you maybe you could rear as most likely we just say near see koneme to 2 year bit me about form. And the price dear yeah who they say a price at our form. Few instances whereby I'm say who's a price dime price above from pano about 2008 or baby I don't know that mortgage crunch ne sanya see no the man above for sanya intense them says me a writer in the history of this country I'm say bear twice pay and aside in estimacy yeah in 2 times pay and aside in estimacy say who's a price a cost because inflation goes with house prices. Averagely about 3% if you house prices cost. It is what the sidelines right now say, change say prices never conform and san what to there and the me dream. And say change say interest rates will conform. Yes, bit me conform. It's not make us say be interest rate but a moment also to house when you are ready. You become ready no one when you are ready. Bro, ubit me na kama ma check it menu and say, oh yeah, ubit me atiku vana kama ma take my face. Why you ready? Why? Hello. Me just say kama face menu na ready. No basu na take you over mama na me face why you ready. Oh, okay, waba. Yo, yenya. Yenya, why you ready?
Yes, Minia.
Mami hwe. Yo, to say the mechanic yenya you mu bebre ho ma yenim no. Yeah, especially yeah, Virginia no dey yenim. Nye Virginia ko. DMV area no. Oye bi wa ben wa adenim. He's Adeba Kwame Pewon say he's very good at what he does. And and you know ye pese ye be man we dey any me introduction why you introduction na ye mfan free ho na afei na your questions before no say no ye mfa topic bi nhyɛ omokon ye pese mo mbisa ye questions bebree ti me questions bi on pocket mu a me dey be hit up ti you ready na bi aso dey we dey be bia na answer nti no bro introduce on na afei ye nko in free ha no.
Yes, and but I said, ne utie ko se ama ho kwan na mmiri nsusu benne mo ebe pipi is our so therefore topic on the table said in the Alex Adomako Champon me real estate agent me brokerage no me adwuma na Samson property o Chantilly honey headquarters so nti ema adofo nyina ne atiefo kwaba se ema ho kwan se nyimre nso yemra mu fie na ye ne matwetwe nkomo.
Yo, that was it. That's be me pebam a be ma the information so atodwa na watimi ama bibi kakra bia in case was here nya e bedru ho ne dia eno so abadwa. Na they said the make no ye pese ye be fa bibi kuntan dia sha amanfo so. you per se amafo free no bisa encourage say komutimi frɛ kra na ye bro so the numbers not to be obi omitimi afrɛ no almost send the chat to any bad but say nipa frɛ dia utimi bisa no more questions personal we mortgage buy any adina a part of personal finance nti ehun hia so be you ho adi bebree we dey one fan ho because here questions ne je bisi bisa ne bisi man timi ye na na bibi kakra na e kan ho asem say hwɛ the state as say the mortgage situation here. Should I buy a house now or wait? Should I buy a house now or wait? It's in a memoir carefree hand say. My first question is say, should I buy a house now or wait? Looking at the way we shift from 2000 and 20 the way prices here cost outrageous. And then you shift 2022, BC 2023, and then honor the way interest rate in this point, and also na be as a abnormal kakra. It's sena just a man yeding, semi fees is in semi to fear. Sena meeting, because we share, friends say, average, let me share numbers be hanum. So, share average price of a house at that emphasis from 2021 it was about 320 home baby. She says it's about 360. When it's about 40,000 difference, and yes, more. It is a na me sideways near yeah say me that's one town na me twen say prices be for man say me that's one town say rate no be for man sana mato ana we dey metumo obi si duality over to you when we be kukuku dem we be wo ye hwɛ say na city e wa
Nana medase any etiefo obium. That's a very good question. Nti the American said, Samek, why you ready? Say obeto dia. Me I highly encourage say the answer is yes. Go ahead and buy it. In that two things and our boss, which is a feeble any interest rate. Feeble to be specific. We'll say from APK, home prices APK end of 2022, right? And so over 2022, Emra Abanu started to raise the interest rate now from they started actually in 2020, early, let's say somewhere February, March, oh baby, and Abanu says will raise the rate. And so 2022 is when we say home prices peak. And so almost a binary activities no raise the rate now. No. And my 2022 for almost some time now, no, for it was the slowest in terms of demand from home for 2022. Because of the rate, Banisha says pushing into 2022 price is peaky here. And going to somewhere in the ending of 2022, summer now, in certain areas now home prices came down. And that's the particular. So we didn't have a lot of growth in that
bro
particular.
Patrik hold on can you share there your friend say bro Mike I'm say open up a BMU no enti na em say ekuwa akire is it possible say nke betimi aklusi ba akwa em say usa ani okay na emi ani mo fa nchem ene mo nko yenko bro kasa
I'm going to say, be as a me Bluetooth to connect na.
unya ko
I'm trying to see if my Bluetooth connector. Hello.
yo ti de yenko be obey ho adwuma nem so kokra o awo ha o ha bro kati em say obeyi ma me kwan du so afiri so ne ahwe obetimi ayi ma me kwan du afiri so
Okay.
yo bro Alex yente kasa yente kasa akuna saba
I don't know why it's not connecting,
Yeah,
but
it's a Bluetooth. Yeah, yeah.
okay. So like where I left out now, 2022. The thing is, 2022 home prices peak, and so with our rate now, home prices stabilized then, and then we realized that getting to end of 2022 now, rates started coming down, right? And the home prices in 2022 now, a conformer in certain areas, depending on the people that. I'm not sure. Okay. And so we was 2022 now. South American prices in APK with further activity now or raising interest rate. And no my prices need stabilizing and I say in certain prices for home. And then we have the same 2022 no, in the same manner. Rate came down a little bit. We had a lot of all the homes that were in market and at that time people rushed, they scooped them all the way to January 2023. And then February job market came and price, the Fed decided to raise the rate again, right? So we say when it comes to home prices, we've gotten some collections in this prices above from in so many areas, which happened in latter summer 2022 and beginning of 2023. But as we speak, home prices have stabilized. But when we ended the year now, we also had some growth, right? And so, like you are saying, home prices have gone up, drastically. And that thing happened, I think, because of the COVID years now. There was this bidding wars and so on and so forth. So you are right, home prices have gone up. That one is true. However, interest rate has come down significantly because in October, when you go back, October last year, it was the highest on record in terms of mortgage interest rate for the past 2 decades.
That's true.
When you go back, yes, more than 20 years. The highest we've seen was the last October. We hit the 8, right? And so since we hit the 8, the same last year, once we got into November, December now, that inflationary readings, from say get better. You realize that November, December now, rate dropped to mid-6, right? Even in December, people with good credit scores could even get conventional 6%. FHA, some of them 5.5%, which has been consistently all the way, even the whole January, with the exception of last week or so, and this February now, when the job market came for the February, January, no showing say the economy is growing at a fastest pace now. And so last week, so where I said rate are shot up. But overall, the mortgage rate is sitting like 6.5, right? For conventional, 30 years fixed. And then on FHR, you can even get something close to 6% or even under 6, depending on which lender. We have the national rate, and then we have if you shop around, right? So I always, point to clients to where they can get more for their money. So yes, all the things that you are seeing are true, but I'm not going to tell anybody that's why you're ready. So all your finances, check the box out. Go sit around and say you are waiting for the right time. When it comes to investment, it's very, very difficult to time when it comes to some of these things. In that, typical example, like 2 weeks from this Thursday, right? When I think we had some news, that very day, the 10-year note that control mortgage rate was trading like 3.835, which was the lowest we've seen as far as December holidays, and our rate was that low. And what happened? There were people who are not more under contract. They called them and said, hey, quickly lock today. Funny, they lost Thursday, Friday, a shot back, and yes, all the way last week, and even last week, we closed on negative note. So I would say, so not because I'm sitting as an agent, but if you are ready and you want to buy, I would say, buy. Why? Because when it comes to home prices, yeah, there has been talk of, oh, there's going to be recession here and there, the economy is going to crash. This music we have seen, yeah, we are for the past 3-4 years. But what do we see? Home prices is going up. But one of the things I'm always telling people, so what we should say, all the conditions are right. I always say you get married to your home and then you date your interest rate. What do I mean by that? To fear when you home, to any location when you home, not above or to something you can manage the payment. Once these three conditions are there, I like the location, I like the home, and I'm able to afford it. That is the most important thing. Interest rates are temporary, just like Ukotoka. Maybe our credit card, yeah, you to me my higher rate, no, or score, put me refund. Student loan, people refinance it. In America here, every debt can be refinanced. Even credit card will be to me, chassis money 29. But to bounce alongside and the scores are jumping. You can call the credit card company, hey, I'm on for first time I'm issue credit, I'm not my credit score, but then my credit score cost 750. What can you do about my interest rate? By law, they will pull your new score and then they will change it for you. And so to make matters shorter, for me, I strongly encourage say, if the three conditions, one, if you are in a better location, two, this is how do you call it? You also know, so okay, I can afford it. And then the products and the community when you want, go ahead and buy it because interest rate is not permanent. When you look at between at least 0, 1 to 10 years now, it has been proven that the average in American, they refinance their home 3 times within that 10-year stretch. So they get a rate that they like. And so knowing this now, don't sit around because the more you sit around, then you are continue to throw money away. Imagine say, oh, rent will be Alexandra near Woodbridge, a nice apartment, 3-bedroom. I've heard people paying $2,500, $2,000 for 2 bedrooms. And to what now say 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. So guess what? You are throwing money away. But ebi toy and $500 more, $1,000 more. And kasa number of years in ska no. And how they are bringing down your loan. At a point, say interest rate call for more. Uber to me adding their refinancing. And so I strongly recommend say you buy if all these three conditions are ready. And lastly, people also are there says, oh, if you're above from. These are all speculation. And yes, some of them it can be said. I'm not sitting as an agent promising anybody say, put to fee 500 now, 2 years, 3 years from now, it's going to have the same price. So, but one thing I've realized is that when it comes to home, a home is a tangible asset, which is a feasible. Yes, on books, the home can depreciate. But when it comes to the home, once you maintain the home is sitting down there, and no matter how your home is going to depreciate, so far as an American say one, we need community. Two, if you're not 12, we need you. Not 3, you can afford it. Yes, and then if you was 500, if you call 480, I can tell you the worst the value will one day come back. And once it come back, it's going to grow from there. Typical example, like I know certain areas in Woodbridge, like I'm using Bill's Point as a point reference, right? The homes are those days, recession time. Some of these homes, people paid 700, 750 for them. But during the recession, these homes were being sold for half of the price. So people bought them for 400,000, 450. As you and I are speaking, those homes, and in Eagles Point, they are back in $800,000, $900,000, which is more expensive than the original prices that people paid before the first recession in 07, 08, 09. Think about that.
Yo, it has to be brave. I have a few questions. So, I brought so many questions to chat on a bit in mind. As your brother.
No. Wait a minute, so mama, 1 second. I was for and then I'm the mobile man. I fe. You be pass more mobile na nka mo bisa questions no ne mo nyina mo so Jackie Roxanne. I mean sure so I join here Obapa into okay. Ajima Prempe also was Kwadwetwi Patience Joyce Anna Didi Becker Agata Ba Michael Kufo Raphael Osei Owusu Anna Pearl also Christopher Nuyama Afime Vida Techua Waha Anna Francis Tag okay Manyo Nana Chaminana Prince Grace also was so na Felicia Ejabin okay and Ufuri Mavis Nancy Ufuri na George and Gabriela okay Ampia okay Nana Kusia Echa na Vivian Sam Munyina Muoso na Hannah Alician Isaac Wismo more marking in answer more so number no a studio the 703 565 2360 703 565 2360 Yunia Nana Barfi Ewoso and Mr. Lesson so Ewoso wa being or dying who ye pa more meet my friend direct na mobisa questions no ma answer amai what the two chatting him so and I say Facebook YouTube ibia so am de be more na o ma answer amai tinana meja ma na watwa so amai
Yo, bro, Okasa no can be about rights. So, yeah, right. You don't see the reason why I was not say. Me will question the kind, but could be a stand out back and say, will mortgage interest rate go down in 2024? Will mortgage interest rates, based on your experience, based on the things we are hearing, the economic situation is sad money now because I never be remember for sidelines no sad money or trains sad no even though no said you can ready nyama wo can check boxes ni na I still no see interest rate na but my make me say would mortgage rate interest na go down 2024 and I said it's going to go down based on experience and everything what think of say from down and you're still in February up to the year end. First, a idea will share based on the things that are going on. And
thank you. That's a very good question. Yes, the answer is two parts. Is yes or no, right? Yes, this year, era from here, all the economical predictions we were thinking the Fed is going to cut the Fed funds rate, by 4 consecutive times, right? Mm-hmm. That was the expectation of Wall Street and many analysts. Some people even have built in 6 rate cuts. Now we are hearing 3 rate cuts, and everybody was even hoping that next month when Fed power didn't go push next month, but now so pay attention. Last week, all the inflation reading about things are beginning to creep up again. Right? Because it started with the January job report. We were thinking the job market was going to be like maybe economy is going to have like around 200 and something. And it came in a whopping 330,000 plus. Right? And so right there now the first was say, hey, this is January. Why? January now can normally December, November, December, and about employees high, they take part-time workers, holiday workers. Then January, now companies I cut it back. No, I let it go of holiday employees to balance their sheet. But guess what? January, they rather added. That means that to be a business or for be man, I said the business is booming. Yes. If it's booming, I need to grow my sphere. And what does corporate America do? They add more workers. And so in translation now, people had money, they're out there spending. And so when we had January inflation rate now, it was showing that inflation is beginning to creep up. And so guess what? Now the Fed came out and he made a comment saying, hey, since this rate cut now, is going to be data driven. Data driven means month by month. The inflation news about the better or say cut or cut. And I believe that there's going to be a rate cut some point in this year. But let me explain why I'm using this rate cut. So anytime bankers or cut rate, they are only cutting the funds rate, which is now the Fed rate now, a control, student loans, car loan, credit cards, those short-term interest rates now. It's now set at 5.5 and quarter to 5.5, depending on how you are reading into it. That one doesn't control the mortgage insurance and mortgage interest rate. What controls the mortgage interest rate is the 10-year treasury bond or treasury note, the 10-year note, as we call it. And so what happens is that if Fed says, oh, maybe cutting interest rate, psychologically, investors think, oh, that means that there's going to be free flow of money into the economy. And so what happened? They stop trading bonds and then they take their money to stock market. And then once they take money from the bond market, now the bond market drop, which is the base security that drive mortgage interest rate. And so from that November, now make us a rate hit 8. At that particular time, the 10-year treasury note was trading at 5% or even 5 and change. But now it's just trading for last Friday it went up a little bit. We trade 4.25, right? Which is the highest we've seen in the past 2 years and in the past 2 months. Sorry for that. And that's what led mortgage rate went up last week. So all that I'm saying is that yes, the tendency for mortgage interest rate to go lower this year is there. But in terms of a specific to say, oh, it's going to be 6 or 5 now, it's very difficult for anybody, even only Pa is not going to tell you because Pa doesn't know what the job market is going to look like. There can also be slow economical growth, which might signal, hey, there's a distress in the economy. So you know what? Let me cut instead of maybe cut it down quarter or cut it down half. Let me maybe cut 0.375 or let me maybe cut 1 point to inject money into the economy. So yes, the expectation is a mortgage rate, as you can tell. Look at November even to now, it dropped by only 1.5 points. So if 2 months 1.5 points, then there's more room. If the Fed begin to cut the funds release now, the cycle is automatically mortgage rate is going to drop as well. But as to where it's going to be now, I think in the late summer, end of the year, I think the consensus is that even the Fed, because the Fed doesn't want to drop it abruptly, because they don't want a situation whereby some money for Nipa rush into the market, and when they rush, what happened?
Demand.
Price demand goes up, and then if you mind over the 2-3 years in an ayekwa, and the things the concept is that even in the summer, they will try to let it lingering around, upper 5, mid 6, depending on your credit scores. That is the expectation. But I strongly believe as all the inflation figures begin to come in and it shows that inflation, then mortgage rate, we're going to see more improvement to come. But as to the exact number there, nobody can predict.
Okay, so if
Okay,
no,
Nana,
so
we
yeah,
have
but
2 questions. Me
Yo.
found quick now. Nana, we say all the time. Watching narrator, omuka, say on train. Obiso, say, okay, should I buy a house now or wait for the recession? One question, and the other one is say, Nana, is real estate worth it in 2024? Meaning, so when your questions now.
Is it worthy? It's like, is it
Yeah.
really worth buying
What, yeah.
in 2024?
WORT.
Yeah.
What is it better in 20?
Yeah, is it worth
Okay,
it?
but you want some new year na.
Yo, Minimum, maybe I can't find, but I said you can. I don't know. Real estate, maybe an agent and so on. Trend. Said
for
you
recession.
say what corner why? That's the maybe numbers now. What can you ready? But that's what we now. Who ready? But that's the train. Maybe I'm fixing the money. Real estate say is it worth it? 2024 year. I don't think say it matters the year. Real estate. Because because yeah, another DJ land. And a land should be make na I share a crown America high world building. Usually, no, who build the world near the now rest it and money easier because of the equity to build them. Yeah, anytime, yeah, worth it, but also talk to the year. Bro, with the over to you. Let me jam one answer question. First one, I must say, your friend say, almost say, on
for the recession and ask on
what kind of recession you are? Yeah, but the almost say better. I mean, you recession, and I'll say, is it worth it?
Yes, that's very good question. If you know, thank you so much. So I think meaning what the real estate the inside of the school how they casa because I can tell you that just even in 2023 America just said the rate started going up. I've seen communities with 2 months before that time if you because of the high interest rate somewhere even September August and I'm using our local market one community in Woodbridge. There was a listener it was on the market for almost if I'm not making a 4 months the home was listed for $700,000 right and then because of the 20 distress we lower it $60,000 when say obito gada no for motor home the same community similar home last week me can say obia listed similar home $750,000. Guess what? The home went under $750 and it's settled for $750.
Wow, the difference.
Yes, this is just 2022 when Fed nature says raising interest rates. Because what happened is that at that time there was shock in the system. It was January, January 2022, say rate 3%. FA, you be 3.5. Neko. Yeah, the buyer wants to some and the interest rate is almost 6%. It's like everybody's like, how can this say 6 months period and rate from 3% to 6? And you mean toffee. And what happened? People went to hiding, say yen toffee. And we agents at that particular time was very, very, very slow. That time it was timer. You could see home for the first time. You see a home sitting in Northern Virginia for 4 months. 4 months. And yes, I had listener every week in Grofoko, they go look at it. Now agents now oh Alex, they say they are going to think about it. Because I'm not for a shock. Say, how can I say January, February rate was 3 and then 6. And so it wasn't like real estate collapsed then. But shock now for people who didn't have patience now or 20 now out of panic, they have profit, they drop the price, but those who bought them at the home are priced higher than that. And so now who are selling today now, they are selling based on the value. And so with that being said now, if we pick just set 100, well, I wouldn't say no because me agent. And when I always tell people, I always say, look, how many agents do we have in Northern Virginia or America? And how many homes do I sell in the year compared to all homes? And so what I'm going to tell you, it's about reality. And so if somebody says it's not a recession, yes, can we have recession? Of course. What is recession? Recession is decline in economical situation. Every recession is different. COVID recession. And then I go for buy. Rather than if you perform any moment that 2 years of COVID was the highest appreciation on record. Everybody should go read about it. since America started say even before 07, 08 recession, home prices didn't go much high that much. But over that 2 years now, the appreciation on average, depending on your zip code, 2020, home prices went by at least at a minimum 20% in most communities. Some places went up at 30%.
30%.
The same thing repeat itself in 2021. And until now you realize that so we share home at said and another we can if you will be turned 2019, it at 300,000. Right? I bought home for people in Woodbridge, 320. By the time you enter 2022, now those was worth over $400,000.
Yeah.
Within 2 years, the homes have gained almost $100,000 of equity.
Yeah, insane.
Because of demand. But we're talking about recession. How's that recession? That's the year home prices are going up. Isn't it a recession?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, yeah.
And so there are different type of recessions. Yes, if actual recession hit and it hit economy, yes, there's a tendency to say home prices might come down. But there's also a tendency to say we might not see that kind of, bank that people are expecting. And for me, and all the things I've been following and the things that government has put in place are, and what happened 08 repeat itself? Of course, yes. But looking at the economical trend and the measurement the government has put in place now, I don't think so we're going to see a repetition of 08 anytime soon. We're going to have a recession one day. And that recession might not come from a home because now, the way we underwrite mortgages now is very, very strict. Obi a watu ofi bi a will tell you. That's it. Ubeka said the occupant security clients. Very, very, very strict. Even 3 days. Yeah, employment verification. Yeah, you go close, say echna Wednesday, you go close to echna Monday. Bank never for no afraid with memo. Any very back. Hey, this is so and so calling from so and so mortgage. Alex Admokwe Champion is going to close on home Wednesday. We'd like to know that in the next 2 months or 3 months, do you have plan to lay people off? And is it going to be affected?
Mm-hmm.
And Americans are honest. They were listening to what they were going to say. It's oh, yes, it's true. We have a mind to look at people, but we don't know whether it's going to affect him or he might be laid off. To be clear, make his statement now. I said the loan is gone. That is how strict they are. And so, now the fundamentals of the housing market is very, very strong. Even though one, prices have gone up, two, interest rate is high in recent days now. They are not repeating what happened. They make sure say whether you are getting 10% interest rate, whatever the rate now, they've looked at your income to make sure say based upon the income that you presented you are able to afford it. Well, they don't know. Say, ABR, who discuss African, who sit down African, ABR, who boa or community, who donate into organization, into your religion group. They don't know. And for them, there's a, and that's why I always tell people that there's a difference between qualification and affordability. Because the bank doesn't know, say, you have a commitment in that. And also who said no. Yes, the bank is qualifying me for $800,000 based upon what the bank can see. But all the excess money and I said surplus money, medical places, me first me $600,000 ever bought me. And that is where you know how to sit down to merge the qualification and affordability. Because the bank now has deemed said, well, as far as we make it this amount now, you qualify and you can afford it. But the bank doesn't factor in, with other lifestyles.
Yo, maybe a few questions. Mike, what question go about maybe way?
Okay.
The affordability side, no. There's a rule of thumb say, if you can make sure say your monthly mortgage shouldn't be more than 25% of your take-home pay, meaning 10,000 a year, the mortgage, and you say 2,500. And no wait you should that affordability. No. Number two, bro, before somebody, but remember what can be with a very quick answer my question number. When you said recession, no kind of man catch it till say we start to say we explain and make catch it. So on China call recession and son what I know. My antenna start that but look, yeah, shall deal how. Bro, wait in a quick now my find a question number. You've been in the business, right? You've been in the business.
Yes.
How many times, apart from 08, no, I know say that how many times when we say that 08, ABS Krumhada? I'm saying once, I'm saying 1930s. It is a what was say me China recession BSc. I said we explaining no. Recession is every 2, 3, 5 years be a recession in a different ways. It is so what was me China recession is I'm off officers 2008 the baby. They said you work and said the clearance. Bro, how many times has our recession? I'm off for 2008 the BBC. No. And I even cry houses now work as a course now a bar from no. Time of COVID ne year no. I'm off for panic. It is a bar back to the original price. Houses are from the price not they are from, but back to the price because in price is inflate. It's back to the original. I mean, who's a price pass apart from 08 no? Who's a price pass that from kakra me read kakra minim no. I'm saying 1930s what baby name say price call from the 08 ni. Apart from that no, price into what there. So why you ready? We check it boxes now. All kind of there go. There was so ultimate told there. Now what dated the rate no? Apart from an what me bro, for our questions no bro.
Yo nana medasi. Nipa no be joining. I wish someone come be free. Like more the questions number. Number is 703-565-2360. Omo ye credits on be and saying Lily or Johnny Audu Isaka also and Mary Yamoa Joseph appear Mafu na Albert appear also Koku okay dance also menya na Monica wa Jude or say Asari Richmond na Dina Hubin okay Ambassador George Safo na Abigail Kevin Prince Allen okay Adama Saki na Ernest Free Esther Techi I Mr. Alex any unia and a kusina ni also any unia Patrick na ya Barfi and almost you ready answer your questions na me nana tua masan enya wa ha we say is it better to buy a house when the interest rates are high? Is it better to buy a house when the interest rates are high? And the second one is say, how long should you live in the house to make it worth buying? Meaning say when you know.
These are very good questions, right? Very, very good questions. You better but before some is it worth to say my interest rate na cost and what on and the things any advisable interest rate or former a year. But what we are trying to say is say to me, I don't think say we're trying say yeah, the can say don't base on the interest rate. You buy a house, that means you are dating the interest rate. Interest rate above from a ubi to me. Now they are above. By mum, the check boxes now no can say is it good for you? The area, can you afford it? And affordability now make say the percentage now bit me used to know. Those are the things that ubi to me anyway. With the emphasis really for him. That question, how long should you live in a house before say your friend saying say worth buying and answer selling? The second question.
I say how long should you live in a house to make it worth buying?
What's your question?
Is it worth selling or worth buying?
Because you are living in it already. To be a West. Until they generalize the answer.
Right. So
when to the near can say you good say free na you encourage these days we're free.
In terms of selling your home, how long one has to live in it, there's no any room of term that it stays spiritually time or say at any time be all right. But Really?
I said, yeah, who said, yeah, Muja, no. He said, the website Muja cry more. Aha, I feel that. I feel that Muja need a fruzy.
Matthias, thank you. Well, it's a very good question. Obia no hono ma, there's no time be say ubetumi ade aton fie. Utumi ton fie at any time. However, the truth is that selling a home come at a cost, right? And so you have to make sure that by the time I would ton fie no, you have enough equity that you are walking away with money. And then secondly, you are also able to pay your real estate fees as well. And so that is one of the areas that you have to make sure that you have ample equity in it. So nobody can put say ton that's a man ton that's it. And that means any good real estate agent piano obanas also to fear they should be able to give you, ask you some basic questions. If you know Skase na would those kind of things. And then they also have to talk to you about the fees here and there, and then you can make informative decision. However, one of the things that are very important is Uncle Sam. Sir Uton Fie, no one name as a primary resident for more than 2 years. Next the Uton one, it becomes like investment. And as you pay what's called capital. And only idea, one of the things I always advise clients, say be would you move would be and a boom and I was one. Over so avoid the Uncle Sam there. Then wait till it's 2 years and the autumn one. And yeah, individual, the Virginia law is a autumn fee as a primary home. Now realizing anything $250,000 for one individual, you don't pay no taxes. More couples are a profit of $500,000, you don't pay no taxes. So those are the things that I always caution people. But in terms of how long that I have to sell it, bank in there, you don't have any problem. What name 1 month now say won't pay out they will take their money. There's no penalty. Unless you have a loan that has a prepaid penalty on it. But in this environment, residential loans, I'm here to see how many of them have prepaid penalty. So you can refinance it anytime. You can prepaid it so where the loan to which we are free and have sort of meet home. In India, it's all subjective. There's no specific duration as to how long one can live in a house to say, I'm going to sell it.
Yeah, especially talking of Uncle Sam. 2 years in say, and my address. I was say the past your friends say 5 years. What are your address? What name? Hey, SNS even though no, because a bit amount for investment. Thought you make channel. Even though you say 2 years, na a year, and I know Uncle Sam still bebem. It also making sure that is also there. Bro, question be hobby. Hello. Question be. Obenya question no say it need to depend on your situation. We said say me kind no finance is not one fit all. What is the mention one fit all? It is hwɛ deɛ obi yɛ hwɛ deɛ woyɛ a ɛbɛ fit wo. Because ebi am te apartment mu na ebi esika free me ho apart from that me debt ni ade me gye 10,000 a month. Ya na me pese me de ba for we dey say me gye 3,000 a month. Let's keep free me ho ekotua me debt is about 2,000. And I emphasis it's about 1,500. Who could to die a struggle? Remember, apart we say ya no what fruity no baby. Who a dine be class and say we see kind of super people be say we can be the way here. They are not hard. It may be and can say we go in your own pace. Go in your own pace. Say the mechanic now. at least when you say 25% of my mortgage and I could me danka because you have other things to do. One yes, I cost no be 28, 30 if you work on over struggle. It may be so on said the AC home price in the day be cost and channel. And so I feel you be sit down papa the fetching the ACC. Hey, you know, yeah, no so ba. Hey, it may people be brave. Remember bro so kakra broko. So what the
Yes.
question now or say hey I say who say or pay amount for code do or cast or train be bria or share apartment there no mortgage in your pay. Baby kwana no ho nso. To the yem fan say no ho nso. Yem fa man mi enu ne nhwe.
I mean, like it's a very good organ, but they said the organ abrabo we enyemreke true. So what and you know, it's very important say if you I was getting people or my minimum share my home sometime. And I always tell people say no, take your time. I'm not rushing you because the one of the expensive thing nipa betumi ato e was associate. The average person American any fee. And when people approach me, I don't take it lightly. And I don't want a situation so I to feel now would mean you are not able to focus. God forbid. And you know, make yourself all the conditions are right. But also now I hear people say, oh, whoa, a car won't mean to feel. It depends on the car to do with any your income. The car doesn't prevent you to buy home. A car be who student no, who car note. It's very difficult. So because oh, because you am student no nephew, but you me car note nephew. And son what me ato. Yes, especially a car note can sometimes be hindrance in terms of how much you qualify for. And it's annual. And so the debt itself does not prevent you from buying the home. But if you have a lot of debt into there, and sometimes a lot of debt also can also contribute to the fact that credit ratings are going to be low. So if you are thinking about trying to pay down your debt, as you are paying down the debt now, trying to clean up so that you'll be able to pay your mortgage freely now. In terms also, when they come for you to apply your credit, your credit scores are going to look a lot better. And so by so doing, you get best interest rates. And minimum say whether we're going to get there or not. But so far as we are talking about this now, I also want to chip in. Say there are certain things and say who plan is over 2 feet in the next 6 months, 2 years, a year, which is and mono. Unless you really need it. And I say, so misika some day, misika some was from a talk but and yes, now for 20 minutes. If we are say in the next 4 months, let's fine, who make you good money? So going to pay that car loan is not going to affect your purchasing power. But guess what? So can drop your credit score by 50 points, by 30 points. So credit scores na ABI never 760 no. Who to a car na if you 1 month, 2 months later, apply mortgage na you drop it 30 points. And that's a word of caution. I'm a person with issue in 18 say, wouldn't be a person dying very soon. 6 months, 1 year from now on. Mr. Emeka, Oko Toka Mono, Oko Tonku, be a better parley onto your data. Stay away from it. Because sometimes people get disqualified not because they say they can't pay their mortgage, but KB Okoto 800, 700, 600. Now, I'm raising the DTI. And so episode 500, but the bank also is going to say, look, because of a car note, you to me 500, we can only qualify you for 350. And those are the things the person mechanic Tony and assume so person to fear. I was said, Sanyaman would be and not that I think that will be another time for another discussion. The lower your DTI, your debt to income, the better in the terms of the loan is going to be given to you. And I think that will be more conversation maybe on another day, but that's one thing that I want to throw in as can't debt once a month. Anna.
Yeah, I never come a pebble. Many I would say it comes to debt buying a house. Many disagree the BI was added home. But in Nancy in a year. enti so hwe de enu kan ya de bia o chese o ma ne kofoma enti me my teachings ne say pam no twa no yini na free ho bema why free e woni ma bebre ono being there in the field and de bia ohu o chese say pam me de at least utimi lo one kra na o credit score ne me de de bia me kan de enti a yenu ani bisa sa question say me teach de bia chance say yeni sa ne ma ni na free ho e ma more space e ma ne timi bo at the same time sometimes ya na wo twen a eche say wo twen say we enti wo strategy as wo twa wo data within 2 years we bitimi de twa ni na free ho no a bitimi aboa o ma na ye yi which minia ya o de o say nipa no timi te so kakra na ekofoma utimi to fie no me de me say no you need na free ho no bitimi aboa but ni say pe oye because they said you okay say where you address up so to fee na say ukoye na ekote 50 points I no kwa bitimi nya 0.5 me boa interest rate bitimi abeka which is unnecessary so timi koye sa it make sure say debt na hu hia ya be say to fie no so hia say bitimi ama na kofo bro question bi o ho ana
3 minutes bi na fa we shim mu fa we shim mai we de obusa aha o say say opese who the current interest rate the ewo ana afen so bank ben ana opese oye mortgage ko mostly ana on say dan trust rates no banks are de ban nti bank ben ana onyusu wo mo aha ana say so are we expecting say interest rates a bit drop ana aha na mo de arapo amai
okay na me fa tu na wrap me up now the information so aka ho amaye
I mean, when it comes to banker, I'm not here to endorse every bank, any bank, because by so doing now, your situation might be different. And so for me, I have numerous banks that over 10 different banks that I've worked with over the year. I can point to 3 with my client and then they shop with. And then based upon that, I'm able to guide them. I'm very, me personally, when clients are buying home, I don't leave them at the mercy of the loan officers. At least I mentioned here, when I became a realtor, I decided to go steady loans. And the idea here is to make me knowledgeable in the product. So the buyer said, Obi baso betofia, and yes, I'm so loan officer in the number and I email. I'm able to interview you if you open up and understand your situation. And some cries and I say, oh, application link here, and I say, talk to this person or that person. Because me person me present you now we are ready candidate. Into about now, let's face your credit scores. Who collection? Who we? And that is what I do. But on this platform, I'm not going to endorse any particular mortgage company.
no for information ka ho amaye na yenko
Okay, me being the Alex Adumakwe Champon. My phone number is 703-577-0872. Also email me so the first and second part of my last name, which is alexachampon.sp. S like Sam P as a Paul at gmail.com. Google me din so Google Alex Adumakwe Champon. You see my website and everything that pertains to me over there. But that's me.
yo mpacho as a wrap up no minim say ka bitimi type na dia to chat box mama ya ke be boy why information yo to say the no work no we share sene ade ba kwa me pe won ho say me obi ana me ne ye adwuma sisi a if you say why ready why bibia wi okoy o ka chen say on to no bo kakra on ne de bia me pushi akwa say me hwa ne ma toto yi o say bro say me into me bo kakra etinye say obaye na no ahwe na wo ko still no besa ahwehwem am sure say unya ne yi etino ye make sure say yeso aye be ye ho adwuma ne ye kwa ne akoyewe ni nyina ne say de ye ka no interest rate especially ye nya no free itrim ye date interest rate na ye make sure say ye be say ye marry ye home no buy when you are ready ne say location na pay affordability wetimi etua ehia papa affordability na ho hia pa because you don't want to buy in a situation whereby say na fie no kra esa be free winsem nti you make sure say ye to a na ye to ni ye ready ni say ye mu bebre ho no ma ya na ye ho e ka so dooso so ye ka free home bebre say ye $500 car payment ye $500 home your friend saying school loan, your 500 payment, credit card, 1,500. It me and free one it free up that scan so my. You never raise all of a sudden. You make sure say yeah yes I am na mo call Alex one ma SIM a mem na my pepe yo. You be end ha next week say the kind them say I don't know you be sabba bim bro you be time near sabba bim say a man for be my kwan you make sure say you be spend it wisely, you save intentionally, na you give generously bro you be to amount near your fair free hano yo some pa mon country you be sabba bim say eh na e bibi you be to so bro fair free yo
Ebeboa pa nyamisha masa les also nyamisha ne utama onya amaye benia sepon wose nana oye dynamic da bi ade foforo ena eba nyami enshira pa yo obusiafo sada bi kan yenua Patrik na ya Barfi ene mesa Alex e champon ana yeti wo muka no mede nana personal number ato line so 7039811910 ofre na nneoma bibro beboa na wakyerɛkyerɛ mu nyame hyira sɛ anwummere wobɛka yɛn ho ɛma yɛsua adeɛ financial peace education ɛnɛ ɛha ne yɛde mu bɛsiɛ sɛ nnwom si no wante yɛnka a na ɛnɛ financial peace education baabi yɛde mu bɛduruyɛ ni the next person yɛbɛte ne nka no ɛyɛ pastor Asare Tamu Kuchu.